Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm on in Chockaballoo, and we've got longtime fools, Jason Hall and Matt Frankel, giving a 1 to 10 rating to the best performing Moneyball stock. It's Sezzle, ticker symbol SEZL. First, we'll rate the strength of Sezzle's business, including factors like its industry and competition. A 10 is invincible. A 1 is hopeless. Jason's at a 6. Matt, you're at a 7.
Yeah, and I mean, if you had asked me 2 years ago to rate a buy now, pay later business, there's no way I would have given it a 7. But here we are. It is a competitive business. There are some big players like Affirm, Afterpay, which is owned by Block. Sezzle's a relatively small player compared to those. But the buy now, pay later industry has proven that, one, it's here to stay. It's not just a fad to, split something into 4 payments and all the different offers there are. But the industry has proven that they're good at underwriting. They're actually surprisingly good at building good asset quality in a variety of economic conditions. A lot of people thought Affirm was going to go bankrupt during the 2022 bear market, and that didn't happen. We didn't even see a significant uptick in defaults. So it's a strong business. It's a competitive one. It's still in the early days, which is why I didn't give it a higher score. But I think a 7 is appropriate here.
As Lee Corso, for those of you that watch college football's ESPN Game Day show on Saturday mornings, would say, not so fast, Matt. Nobody's credit quality ticked up during that period. The economy has held up. This is the only contention I have right now with Sezzle in this entire category of companies. And the reason I gave it a 6 is this is not really a new industry. It's an old business and new packaging. Everybody remembers going to malls and going into big box stores and getting the store credit cards. This industry has existed for years. What's different is the retail brands are now Afterpay, Klarna, Sezzle, et cetera. So that their brands are now coming forward. But the industry has existed for a long time. The personal credit, the extensions, the buy now, pay later options, those are not new, right? So the difference is now they're publicly traded businesses that we can invest in, and we're investing in unsecured lenders, right? And we haven't gone through a true economic period to really find out about their credit quality. That's the only reason I'm not higher here is I don't think we have a whole picture of how their results hold up and how their credit quality holds up during a period when people are actually having to make those hard decisions about which bills to pay, because we know these are the first ones people will not pay when they have to make a choice, because nobody's going to come pick up the T-shirts that they bought on Walmart.com, right? Somebody will show up and take their car or kick them out of their house, right? So we just don't really know. So I can't go higher than that until we have more of a full body of evidence.
I'm still trying to figure out if Matt is Kirk Herbstreit in that Lee Corso example above, or that Jason mentioned. Anyway,
You mean being extremely smart and well-spoken? Yes.
Aw.
Thanks, buddy.
But not from the great state of Ohio. For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett, a 1 is Homer Simpson. These are higher. At least for actually, they're higher on both counts. Jason's at a 7. Matt's, you're at a 9.
Yeah, well, first of all, Jason makes a really good point about the store credit card comparison. Those tend to hold up very poorly during downturns. That's why they charge like 35% interest, because they hold up so poorly.
Right.
But for management, I did give their CEO, I'm hoping I pronounced his name correctly, Charlie Joachim.
It's Joachim, exactly. I actually guys, you should be proud of me. I went on YouTube and listened to somebody say his name to be sure, and it's phonetically Joachim.
I
would have said Dwight Yoakam.
I got it right. Yeah. That was my first thought. But he started the business in 2016. He owns a lot of the company. He owns about 40% of the company still. Very shareholder friendly. Stock-based compensation even made past Tyler Crow's test when I talked to him about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's very low for a fintech company.
It's low for a company. It's
low for any company. Very opportunistic he's very conservative with giving out equity. Opportunistic with buybacks, and he's kind of created several unique aspects to the platform. For example, with Sezzle, you can choose whether or not your payments are reported to credit bureaus or not, which is a very unique feature, because the default is usually no with buy now, pay later. If you get the pay in 4 thing, it's not reported to credit, but they give you the option to, and it's resonating with consumers.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of thing that if somebody selects no, you immediately deploy drones to find them and follow them around to make sure you get your money, right?
Don't tell me don't tell anyone if I pay you back or not.
Right. On the other side, the yes, I'm like, okay, all right.
We're good. We're good. We can trust these people. No, that's funny. But I do think Joachim is a great leader. And so far, I think a proven founder. Now, everything you said, these are the kind of things that should carry over to somebody that's making good financial decisions around origination, because any lending business can grow really fast. All you have to do is reduce your credit standards and all of the other smart conservative things that we've seen. And we'll talk about the financials in a minute. Make me like what we have here. The reason I went with a 7 though, is again, it's just too early to tell. And building a business with lending risk is very different than building a parking services platform, his first business that he built. I love it, by the way. Passport is great. I don't know if you've ever guys used it with the app and you just it's so good.
I'm trying to think. You get, I think I use Park Mobile a lot. But for financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. Jason's at an 8. Matt, you're at a 9.
Yeah, these numbers would have shocked me a couple years ago, like I said, for a buy now, pay later business. The margins are fantastic. Next to like a Visa or MasterCard, these are the best margins I know of in the financial industry. 83% gross margin over the past 4 quarters, 32% net margin, great momentum, revenue more than doubled year over year, net income has quadrupled year over year. Obviously, those numbers can't be kept up forever, but there's a positive net cash position on the balance sheet. There's not a whole lot not to like financially at the current time about this company.
Yeah, so far delivering very well, but in a strong economic environment where it should be. This space, buy now, pay later, is growing at a double-digit rate. They're taking share, growing a lot faster, but they're small, right? And I think that's one of the reasons they're able to kind of under the radar grow like this. Also strong free cash flow conversion, which is what you want to see in the good part of the cycle. You want to see really good free cash flow conversion, but those really high margins and those high growth rates, they're on the border of being a yellow flag, because this is a financial company. And with financial companies, like I said, you lower your standards, you can grow very fast, and you don't know until economic times get tighter whether those were good decisions or not. So I'm watching that really, really closely.
Jason, let's talk valuation now. How well will Sezzle Stock do over the next 5 years? And how safe is it? 10's a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
Yeah, look, if they're making the right credit decisions, continue to run the business as efficiently and as conservatively as it seems like they are, this is going to be a very big winner and 15% plus returns. Even though the stock is extremely expensive, it's a small business. The price is low. It has maybe Matt, 1% of the market of just buy now, pay later, right? You go to like the bigger addressable market, and the sky is absolutely the limit. But my safety score is a 5, because as much as we've seen the good economics and the strong balance sheet and all that stuff play off, this is a kind of business that can reverse extremely quickly if the credit quality doesn't hold up, and those people that are making their payments now stop making their payments, and losses can emerge.
Yeah, and I said 15% plus. I agree with the binary nature. You know, if the economy really turns, then I mean, it could go the other way very quickly. I put a safety score of a 6, just because of how resilient buy now, pay later has been. And yes, the economy's held up okay, but consumers are noticeably pumping the brakes on spending. People are worried about inflation. We've been in a very inflationary environment, and it's held up very well. The company is growing very fast, and I would push back a little bit when you said it's an expensive stock. 34 times earnings feels like a reasonable price to pay for something that's doubling revenue year over year. So I'd push back a little on the valuation, but we're pretty aligned here.
Let's move on to everyone's favorite, Jason. Is there a company in Sezzle space you like more?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this space because it's still unproven. It's growing quickly, but I've seen a lot of fast early growth financial stories. Just absolutely the wheels come off. So before I'd buy Sezzle, even with those growth prospects, I'd rather invest in another specialist lender that's proven and cheap. And that's Live Oak Bank shares.
I said maybe Block, even though it changed its ticker symbol to XYZ for some reason. I still like the company. Anand and I were talking before the show, and I do agree that I like buy now, pay later as like one thing a company does as opposed to the only thing a company does. And right. I like that Block has Afterpay, that it can integrate with all of the rest of its ecosystem.
Thank you to both Matt and to Jason. They've given Sezzle a strong overall score of 7.7 out of 10, just missing that magic 8.0 score. Obviously, it's beloved in Tom's Moneyball service. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Crown Castle. Till then, Fool on.
Yeah, Sezzle, I think the thing about Sezzle to me is like, it's a perfect, like, get a starter position stock, right? Get a little bit of exposure.
Sure wish I would have heard of the company a year ago.
Right.
Yeah, tell me about it.